Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Castle Country Real Estate Podcast. This is episode number 4. Happy to be back and bring you all of the knowledge about what's going on this week in Castle Country, Carbon and Emery County here in Utah, and just want to bring you up to date. If you're tuning in for the first time, this podcast comes out every Friday. It's found on anywhere you can find a podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, our direct blog site, YouTube, you name it, you can find it. So please share it with your friends if you live in the area or anybody who's interested in finding out about real estate here in the area. So let's kick it off with what we do every week. How many single family homes are on the market right now? We've got 88 as of this morning. So we haven't broken that 90 mark in the last 4 weeks, but it's sort of inching up. I think when we first started the podcast about 4 weeks ago, we were looking at about 86 properties. And then as far as properties that were sold in the last 7 days, we're looking at 10 properties. So again, last week I mentioned we're sort of in this cycle of starting to see more inventory in the market, but we're also seeing this sort of replenishing effect. More houses coming on the market, and then we're staying at about 7 to 10 houses sold each week. Okay, so for general housing information across not just here, but across the nation, it's important for us to every week kind of keep tabs on what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the housing market. There's all sorts of stuff happening right now, and we're definitely seeing a shift in the real estate market. So this is part of why I wanted to start this podcast, was be able to provide a service to not only my clients, but anybody who's interested in real estate in this area. So the first thing we're looking at is I wanted to kind of look at the housing market forecast for the rest of 2022. What are we going to see going into the end of the year? The first thing that stands out is home price appreciation will continue. This is super, super important because a lot of people, the buzzwords out there, is it a bubble? Is this going to be like the 2008 housing crisis? It's a very different market. We've been saying this for a couple of years now. That's what I've been telling my clients. But basically, you're still going to see houses appreciate, but nationally home prices are projected to rise more moderately than last year, but are not expected to fall. So prices are forecasted to climb an average of 10.3% this year. So it's still maybe double digits or high single digits, but we're definitely not going to see this 25% increase like we have in some areas in Utah. That's a big change for people here in Carbon and Emery County too. I was talking to a gentleman the other day. We were doing a CMA, a comparative market analysis for him. And it's difficult because in an area like this, when you see house prices go so crazy, it's hard to understand how that's possible. So I think what we're seeing here in Carbon County, Emery County, we're seeing, yes, there's some remote workers moving in. Some people are even commuting over the mountain to the Wasatch Front. And I think we're starting to see some spillover from the Wasatch Front, the Spanish Fork area, Pace, and those areas. Not a ton of commuters, but I think it's something to keep in mind. A lot of people are working from home now and have the ability to live further away. And what a better place to go. This is an amazing place to live, and people are starting to find out about it. As far as mortgage rates go, mortgage rates are going to respond to the inflation. I've mentioned this the last couple weeks. Inflation, the last numbers that came out, consumer price index, 9.1%. According to the National Association of Realtors, if consumer price inflation continues to rise, then mortgage rates will move higher. Rates will stabilize only when signs of peak inflation appear. If inflation is contained, then mortgage rates may even decline somewhat. So this is something we need to keep an eye on. As inflation continues to go up, we're going to see rising interest rates. What does this mean for people looking to purchase a home? It definitely means that some people get priced out of the market. We just saw that when we jumped from about 3% to 5%. A certain portion of the population is unable to make that monthly payment work in their favor. So let's keep an eye on interest rates. That's something we'll definitely talk about in the podcast as we move forward, just to keep everybody in the loop in case you're on the buyer side of things. What it means for sellers is that there's not as many buyers, but we still have a lot of qualified buyers in the market, and there's still a shortage of houses. So it's still a seller's market in a lot of ways, merely because there's not enough houses out there. So last little item of business is home sales will moderate. So forecasts for homes have been adjusted down this year due to the higher mortgage rates softening demand. The expectation is home sales will be more in line with pre-pandemic years. We're already seeing that. I think we're going to move from an average of like 10 days on the market to moving into something that's more similar to pre-pandemic. You know, sellers need to start facing the fact that their house might be for sale for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and this is going to become more normal. For the buyers, this is great. It gives us more time to look for homes, find the home you want, and have more variety to look at. And we talked last week, it's good for sellers because now, because of that increased inventory on the market, you have the ability to look at more houses to choose from if you choose to sell your house. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody, and I think everybody's kind of ready for it to get back to more quote-unquote normal and get back to something that feels a little bit less rushed. So every week I like to give a little real estate hot tip, something that you can think about. And I attended a webinar this week talking about the difference between value and price, and talking about as we see rising home prices, I thought it might be a good idea to talk to the sellers out there and basically kind of go over what can you do to add value to your home. I don't want to get into too many specifics today, but a lot of times people look at price and value as the same thing, and it's very different. In some circumstances, it's the same thing, but many times it is different. And so the things that we do to improve upon our homes before we sell them sometimes aren't what is out there in terms of the value in the market trends and that sort of thing. So what the price that someone's willing to pay in the market right now for an upgraded kitchen or bathroom. So the cost of the bathroom versus what someone's willing to pay, that's where you need to look as a homeowner. You don't want to spend more than you can recoup, and you want to kind of look at market trends too, so you don't do something that's totally off the wall and doesn't recoup what you spend on it. So I thought the best example when I was taking this class was this agent had a client on the Wasatch Front, and he had inherited some money, and he decided that he was going to buy fake marble statues to put in his backyard. And he wanted it to look like Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. So this gentleman spent all this money, I think the number was something like $100,000, and put all of this marble or faux marble in the backyard in hopes that it would make it more valuable. The problem is that not everybody likes that. And so that's a good example of the price that someone paid is not necessarily the value that's perceived by the buyer in the market. And so you can kind of imagine that might be a hard thing to sell other people on. And maybe it's your dream home and that's what you want to do, but you can't always expect that that's what the market is going to dictate as well when you go to sell the property. So sellers, keep that in mind. Homeowners, keep that in mind. As you do improvements, think about those types of things, doing consistent updates, and also understanding market trends and what might sell if that's something you're thinking about in the future, or maybe it's even 10 years down the line and you're sort of incrementally improving upon the house. So that's your real estate hot tip for the day for sellers out there. So to cap things up, what's going on in Castle Country this weekend? It's International Days. This is one of the beloved events that happens here in Price, and I just wanted to bring it up again. I've been kind of leading into it the last few weeks, but this is a 3-day event. It kicked off yesterday. I was down near the park where they've got the little carnival set up. There's tons of stuff for the kids to do, and there's tons of events going on. So a couple call outs of things that are happening tomorrow is there's a free breakfast in the park in Washington Park, 7 to 10 a.m. And then you can catch myself and some other agents from Real Estate Titans. We're going to be in the parade at 10 a.m. and you can catch us there. If you see me and you want to come say hi, definitely grab me and come say hello. I'd love to meet you if we don't know each other. And if we do know each other, come say hello anyway. So looking forward to that. There's all sorts of other events going on, live entertainment. There's a free swim at the wave pool. Burnout contest, definitely my favorite. That's happening tonight. And cornhole tournaments, car shows, and the carnival that I mentioned. So looking forward to this weekend and International Days. It's going to be great and awesome to have community events like that. So thanks for checking things out this week. I hope this market information was helpful to you. If you want to get in touch with me, my direct number is 801-388-4047. You can email me, josh@madsen.team, or you can find me on Instagram and Facebook @madsen.team as well. And I'll be back next Friday with more market information about and what's going on in Castle Country. So have a great weekend, everybody.